Selling Sunset is back for season 9. The girls are giving back, getting engaged, and ringing a bell. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, it's Nate. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for Selling Sunset season 9, episodes 5 through 7. So if you haven't seen them yet and you do not want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on episodes 5 through 7, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts below if you do want to participate in the conversation, and give this video a like and a hype before you go. Really quick, make sure that you stay tuned to my community tab for any updates on the reunion. I'm recording this before the season starts, and so the reunion hasn't been announced yet, so I don't know what time and all of that, if there's going to be one this season. So I'll be posting all the updates for the reunion information and the watch party on my community tab, so stay tuned for that. Now, obviously, growing up in LA, I'm used to seeing fires all the time. I always tell people other states have snow season, we have fire season. However, this level of devastation is unprecedented, and anyone who spent any significant amount of time in this city would know that. There were a lot of conspiracy theories going around about the government being involved in like all this stuff, but if I'm being completely honest, I am of the belief that this was arson, and I think they actually recently arrested someone. A lot of these people have money to rebuild, and so I truly do understand the fuck the rich sentiment, but your sentimental items, your baby pictures, your baby shoes, those photos that you have with the loved one who is no longer with us, that house where your kid took their first steps, you can't replace that stuff. For example, I still have my childhood diary, and it has been instrumental helping me work through childhood trauma. I've shown it to my therapist, stuff like that. I can't imagine losing that. That is a piece. It's like having a piece of history frozen in time, and I can pinpoint exactly when my trauma started and understand the feelings that I had then and how those translates to now. It's irreplaceable. You can't replace that stuff. If I lost that, I would be absolutely gutted. So I know a lot of the conversation around it was very much a fuck the rich mindset, but the rich, some of them, have hearts still, you know, and they have sentimental items, they have families. In all of that, I remind everyone to realize that people are just human. The city of Altadena was also hit pretty heavily, and those people are not rich. Not to mention the health risk that fires pose. If you've ever lived in a city where fires happen pretty often, sometimes you could walk outside in LA and your car will be covered in ash, and the fire could be in a whole different zip code, but the ash does not care about city lines. It crosses over, it lands on cars, and so of course people are breathing that. Some people have health conditions where they can't afford to breathe in all of that, along with the smog that we already have in LA. So it really is more than just entire neighborhoods being burned down. And of course that isn't small either. One thing for fires to be a natural part of living in LA, it's an entirely different thing for someone to intentionally set fires and then watch the city burn. On the note of violating people's spaces, Mary gets burglarized. They were saying robbed, and I do want to make the distinction here, because robbed means that, you know, there was some type of face-to-face interaction you had with a person stealing from you. There was likely some force. That's not what happened here. She wasn't even home, so it was a burglary, not a robbery. Nevertheless, still completely violating. Your home would never feel safe after that. And this is exactly what I was saying about the fires, that you can have all the money in the world, but it's never going to replace your sentimental things. She said she had something that she got during a vacation with her ex-husband who passed away.
I had one thing left from my ex-husband that passed away. Like, that was so meaningful. And they took it. It was something we got together in Greece, like, and it was just something that meant a lot to me then, and it meant a lot to me now.
The memories and the feelings tied to that thing that you got with that person who is literally not here anymore, you can never replace that. It's disheartening. That item meant absolutely nothing to the people who stole it, but it meant everything to her. I know I'm an empath, but as another human being, how could you bring yourself to do that? She also mentions that her mom gave her a lot of family heirlooms. These people broke into her safe. They were able to find a key, and she was afraid to tell her mom because she didn't want to break her mom's heart. Because again, you can't get that stuff back. Now, while it feels like we've watched them season after season after season and we know them, we don't know them at all. And it's important to remember that, to keep ourselves grounded. So while I feel like it's not in Chelsea's character to send Mary those flowers only so it can show up on camera, Mary does think that Chelsea would do something like that.
She wanted to do this from her. It's got nothing to do with us.
And it just happened to be delivered when you guys are here.
Yes.
I don't believe that.
I honestly think it was genuine, because I'm not about to waste my time nor my money sending flowers to somebody that I don't care for. Like, I don't think Chelsea would ever send flowers to Brie, you know what I mean? I don't think chrishell would ever send flowers to, well, definitely not now, but before the restaurant situation, I don't think chrishell would have ever sent flowers to Nicole, you know what I mean? Even during a time of something bad. And so if it's not on that level of we don't like each other, then I'm not really I'm not really seeing what she meant by that. Just because y'all don't speak or y'all don't speak all the time doesn't mean she's sitting around hoping that your stuff gets stolen, that your space gets violated. Chelsea said more than once, yeah, I think I'm going to send her some flowers. I want to send her some flowers. That's a terrible thing to happen.
Much as I may not have the closest relationship with everyone in the office, I still have a lot of respect for people. Yeah. And that's an awful thing to happen. Yeah. So I'll send her some flowers. I don't even think that's enough.
I do think that it came from the heart, but I also think that Mary was really on edge, of course, after something like this happened, and so she just kind of took a shot because it was like another big feeling on top of the big feeling she already had about the break-in. And I think that because when the flowers arrived, she goes, oh, they're really pretty. This is so sweet. Who sent it? It was only after she read that card and saw it was from Chelsea that she was like, fuck this shit. You know what I mean? So production was very petty for getting a close-up of the flowers going into the trash can. No trash bag or nothing, just straight into the trash can. Dirt and all. Now, because Mary isn't fully feeling at home in her home for obvious reasons, she's looking at renting a place until she figures out what she wants to do with her house. Maybe she's going to rent it out, maybe she's going to sell it, whatever. One of the OC realtors happens to have a rental property in the OC, and she goes to look at it. Now look, again, I didn't realize these women was making this kind of money. I mean, Romaine is also in the house business, so maybe that's why, but this house was $16,000 plus to rent a month. Almost a year's rent for most people. I think most people pay about $20,000 a year for rent, give or take. So paying $16,000 for 1 month just seems wasteful almost. Now, I mean, I guess you got the ocean view, but that ocean view don't cost $16,000. Don't cost $16,000. When it comes to Emma's engagement, well, first, let's back up. Emma lets Chrishell know that her new man, Blake, doesn't want her to work. And I mean, when you're a trust fund baby, that's just your life. Blake has all the money in the world. Why would he ever have worked a day in his life? Of course, he just wants her to pick up and go travel with him because she also has money. And she probably could do that for a year if she wanted to or more. Now, before the trust fund babies come and cuss me out, I have no problem with it. The reality is, I think that all parents want to be able to give their children a better life than they had. Most people would want to give their kids money if they had the money to give to their kids, to set their kids up for life. I hope that my kids come from a little bit of money. I say it all the time. That being said, it's the spoiled brat flavor of trust fund baby that we don't like. It's the nepotism that we don't like. Because whether people want to admit it or not, there are just certain values that you get from having to work and make your own money and be like, shit, this shit. Like when I got my first job, being like, $300, this is like, I've never, $300 is more than I've ever had because it's my first job. So I'm like, oh, this is a lot. By the time you pay for gas a couple of times, that $300 is gone. There's just something that comes with that. There's something that comes with having to do customer service, work at a restaurant, work in retail. There's just certain things that come with having to do that and a certain mindset and a certain type of person you become. Trust fund babies just kind of go right on over that and they never really gain those skills, maybe unless they gain them another way. But I am wholeheartedly of the belief that, and this sounds crazy, but I genuinely believe this, everyone should have to work retail and should have to work a restaurant job one time in their life. And I mean for an extended period of time. Like you should have to work retail for 6 months, work a restaurant for 6 months. So it's like a year study, you know what I mean? I think that it builds character. True, I truly believe that. And also, you're going to be a lot less likely to be a Karen when you go out, because once you know how to handle, happy hour at a restaurant bar and you got people mad and throwing stuff at you. When I worked retail, I worked at a place where a lot of foreigners with money, and so they would come in and like spend big bank, but they were rude a lot of the time. I had someone snap at me one time, like I can't snap because my nails are too long, but I had someone snap at me, be like, open this fitting room for me. Like if you've had someone speak to you like that and treat you like that and you still come out being nice, that builds character. And so I think everybody should have to do that. Blake doesn't have that, and that's why when he's like, hey, can you actually stop working so that we can just do life? He's not realizing that most people's version of doing life is the work. That's most people's version of life. Wealthy trust fund kids are like, oh, I'm out on vacation. I'm eating caviar on toast for breakfast. Like for them, that's life. For most people, that's a vacation if you're lucky. But for most people, the life part of life is the small moments you get with friends and working a job. He just doesn't understand why she doesn't do it. Again, because she has money. If he were dating someone who didn't have money, and he would understand more, but he's like, you have the ability to not work though for a little bit. So like, why don't we do this? This actually seems to be a running theme with the men who date the women on this show. Again, I hate to bring him up because he's irrelevant at this point, but Chelsea's husband did not want her to work. This man does not want her to work either. And the thing is, the men have enough money to say that. But I also think that if that's what these men want, then they're dating the wrong women. The mindset of a woman who has that hustle and that fire in her, especially in the real estate industry, is not the same mindset as a woman who wants to be a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home girlfriend. It's two completely different types of women. And listen, y'all know me, I don't think either is wrong. But what I'm saying is they are two different type of people. And if you're looking for someone who wants to be a stay-at-home, then you got to go find you someone who wants to be a stay-at-home. If she want to work, she's going to work. That being said, I can't really see Emma being a stay-at-home anything. I don't have a TikTok account, but I do watch YouTube videos to stay up to date on what's happening on TikTok. And I have seen that there have been a few stay-at-home girlfriends, which that's not even a real thing, by the way. Y'all done completely made that one up. But I've seen that a few stay-at-home girlfriends and stay-at-home wives have had situations where one day they men wake up and say, hey, yeah, it's about that time. We're not doing this anymore. And then she's left with nothing. Why? Because in the 5+ years of this relationship, she hasn't worked. Not even a side job. She hasn't held a job at all. She has no skills and she has no resources. Even if you're not working at all and he's just giving you an allowance, make sure you're putting some of that money up. Make sure you putting that in some stocks. Make sure you saving it. You got you a HYSA something, because you never want to be dependent on another person for your well-being. And I know people say, well, my man would never do that. Great. I love that he wouldn't, but prepare for just in case he does. Chrishell did take it to the extreme. She was like, oh, he's just trying to isolate you from your friends. This is all about control.
He doesn't want you to work, so that he takes this like hot, independent woman that he's attracted to, but then he takes away her access to her own money. Then he takes away your friends. He isolates you from the people that do care about you. I know he doesn't like you hanging out with me. Does all those things, and then you're left like basically like up to, you know, him.
I'm gonna be honest, I've heard this guy speak. I don't think he has the mental capacity to pull off such an elaborate scheme as that. That takes some manipulation. He is genuinely doing it because his lifestyle is being able to travel whenever and live a fancy life. So he wants the woman that he's dating to join in on that. And I do think that Chrishell is a bit paranoid. She is absolutely right about manipulators using tactics like this. I unfortunately dated someone who was manipulative like this. It starts off with the love bombing. You're amazing. You know, I'm obsessed with you, and they phrase it in a good way. I love you. I would never hurt you. All you need is me. And then it slowly starts becoming, oh, that's cute. They want to be around me. And then it's like, don't go do this. Don't hang out with family. Spend your time with me instead. And unfortunately, by the time you realize that that's what they're doing, it's often too late. And so I can speak on that from experience. Never end up with someone who's being love bombing and manipulative. And it's hard to even say that because you really don't realize that it's happening in the moment that it's happening. And so I really do understand Chrishell looking out for her friend. If she is seeing those signs from him and that's just not something that's coming across to me on cam, then speak up and let your friend know. From what I see, and that's the only thing I can go on, I don't see him as being that type of person. I don't think he's that savvy. I just think he wants to travel because he's rich, he's wealthy, and he's used to being able to travel. I still don't think he's mature enough for Emma though. However, the timeline on this filming is a little iffy. I'm quite sure that filming slowed down during the fires for obvious reasons, and so I know the timeline might be a little different this season. But when we first see Emma mention this man, they had just ran into each other in Miami, I think, on vacation. But when we see her again in episode 6, she's saying it's been a year that they've been dating and it's going well. So this filming at least took place over a year.
May or may not have run into an old flame.
Which old flame? The old flame.
The old flame.
Oh God.
We've been dating for about a year now. It's pretty serious.
And I guess she ain't lying when she say that the year has been amazing because he proposed to her. Apparently he did it in her house and without a ring. Very bizarre, but yeah, I feel like it was just a moment. Look, I actually know someone who I used to work in retail with who, I don't want to say who she's married to. He's famous. I don't want to say who she's married to, but he proposed, I mean, if you know, you know. He proposed to her with like, what's the kind of like rope? It's not rope. It's like the butcher's twine. And I'm going to just stop it right there. If you know, you know. So maybe it was spur of the moment. Maybe he did realize in that moment, yep, I'm going to marry you. It could have just been that. I know that's how it was for this girl that I knew. So maybe that's the case. Either way, it went well because now she's looking at a $2 million canary yellow engagement ring. I wonder what I have to do to get an appointment at Jason of Beverly Hills.
Welcome to Jason of Beverly Hills. I'm Erica.
Jason is the jeweler to see in Beverly Hills. With his one-of-a-kind pieces, all of the celebrities go to him.
Like if I just call and make an appointment and I'm like, yeah, I want to come look at engagement bracelet rings? Like, is he gonna vet? Is he gonna be like, you need references, like it's a job application or something? Or is he just gonna let me come in? If I go and I dress real nice and I look rich, I put on my best Lululemon tracksuit and I go, will he let me in? Or is he gonna make me prove my net worth first? And listen, I understand that I'm not in the appropriate tax bracket. Maybe I should stay out of big dog's business. But is there not a point where The Rock goes from really fancy and elegant to just tacky? Because I think that this ring is tacky. All $2 million of it. It's comically large. And it just looks like costume jewelry. Like, that looks like costume jewelry. I'm sure it would be amazing to walk around with a $2 million ring on your hand and like, you know that ring is $2 million, like, you know. But as an everyday ring that you gonna wear, it's a little tacky. I don't know. Maybe if I could afford a ring that was $2 million, or my man could afford a ring that was $2 million, I wouldn't feel that way. But looking at it, I'm like, it looks weird and tacky on your finger. I don't know. That's just me. Like I said, maybe I should stay in conversations in my tax bracket. I do love that Jason told Chelsea she can bring in her old wedding ring and turn it in for something else. I don't know if this is a tennis bracelet. I'm gonna be real, I don't know what a tennis bracelet is. Whenever I see someone talk about a tennis bracelet, it's always one with diamonds like this, so maybe this is a tennis bracelet. But she can bring in her old ring and get some new jewelry, because who wants to she's holding on to it because it's worth money, but it's tied to her ex-husband, so she wants to get rid of it. So I think that's really nice. I hope she does it. And unrelated, but Emma proves to us that crazy cat ladies aren't always disheveled, because she is in fact a crazy cat lady with a few dogs.
I now have 10 pets. Benny, Jet, Oreo, Diego, Dora, Cheddar, Minnie, Taz, Earl, and Colby. I have a lot of cats and dogs.
So Sandra starts at the O group. She is Sofia Vergara's sister. Fun fact, I went to middle school with Sofia Vergara's son. His name is Manolo. From what I remember about him, he was a super, kind of nerdy and quiet kid. I don't ever remember. I didn't even know that was his mom until years later. One of my friends told me, actually my best friend, the one that I talk about all the time, because we went to middle school together, she was like, yeah, that's her son. I was like, girl, I didn't know that. I don't remember him being anything. I never knew that he had money, is basically what I'm saying. I remember him actually being a little bit of an outcast, but maybe I'm misremembering that. But yeah, he's always a super nice kid, just, kind of to himself. I realize that this is such an LA story. And that's probably what y'all think about people in LA, is that they just rubbing shoulders with the rich. But it's really not like that. Like I'm saying, it's super casual when you're in the moment. I actually know someone who went to Beverly Hills High. They went to high school with Romeo, Master P's son. Just casually, it's just, I don't know. It's not a big deal is what I'm trying to say. But I realize that it's the most LA thing I've ever said, so okay, I'll take that. Now, Sandra meets each of the ladies individually before her first date, which I think is interesting. I think that's a great way to get to know people outside of the dynamics, because inevitably they're gonna tell you about the dynamics. Chrishell tells her that Bree is different on and off cam.
Bree, are you close with her?
I'm not close with her, but I think she's gonna be very nice to you. You're not gonna have any issues. You're gonna be fine.
Around Bree?
Mm-hmm. She tends to be different off camera.
It's like throwing the rock and hiding the hand.
Yes.
I think that's interesting because, one, I've never heard anybody say that. Two, Bree comes off as pretty damn authentic to me. Again, I know that I don't actually know her, but I feel like what you see is what you get with her. So hearing Chrishell say that she's a different type of person off cam, I thought that was interesting. When Sandra does meet Bree, she likes her. She finds out that Nick Cannon is her baby daddy, and she's like, oh, tell me about it. How's Mariah? And I actually really love that Bree set boundaries there and said, look, I don't talk about the other moms. I don't talk about the other kids. I love that, because it's never going to end well. Just strictly not talking about it, that's what she should do. Now, on her first date, she's getting ready to ask the ladies a question, and Emma gets a phone call from her mom, and so she takes the call. And Sandra says something like, well, we'll fill her in later. And for some reason, the girls felt a way about that. They thought she was kind of being shady towards Emma, and I'm like, was she, or was she just saying, okay, we'll talk to her later because she's doing something right now?
Jen,
What's the group question?
is there...
Hello?
Okay, somebody will tell her later.
Oh, I'll call you when I leave.
What should a new agent not do to have any of you roll her eyes?
Just that. Exactly what you just did. Don't do that. Don't do that again.
Sorry.
Because we go to war about Emma around here. I'm just kidding.
I didn't take it as a dig, but Chrishell and Chelsea did. They ride at dawn for each other, so whatever. I didn't think that was a big deal. Not too much on the other ladies. Chrishell sold JoJo's house for $4.1 million, which is exactly what JoJo wanted to make from it, so that's great. And Chrishell got to do her favorite thing, which is ring the bell. She also mentioned that house with the koi pond that JoJo wanted to get came back with so many issues in it, and so JoJo's not gonna do it because apparently Reno is gonna take a crazy amount of money. But the owner's fixing it, so we'll see what happens there. Bree had lunch with her sister, which I had no idea she even had a sister. They look nothing alike. Granted, Bree has been very vocal and honest about the fact that she's had work done on her face, so maybe they used to look alike, I don't know. At lunch, they put their purses on the floor, and Bree is right, that is a sin. She doesn't seem to have a problem with money though, so maybe I should start putting my purse on the floor a little bit more often. As for Chelsea, love her with her straight black hair, but can someone tell my good sis that the word is unfuckwittable?
I thought I was unfuckable with.
Welcome, Chelsea.
I thought I was unfuckable with then. Now you really can't fuck with me.
What did she? I can't even remember what she kept saying. I don't know what she was trying to say. I'm gonna put the clip in for y'all, but I don't even know what she was trying to say. Unfuckwittable, Chelsea. That's the word. Quick note on Nicole. In my last video, I said, yeah, it sounds like she wasn't really fired. It sounds like they're just asking her not to come in. In episode 6, Jason says, well, with Nicole not being in the office, which again leads me to believe that she's just not in the office. They're kind of tiptoeing around explaining it, but I'm quite sure that she works there in some capacity. Basically, she's like working from home. And when they were firing her, she did say, oh, are y'all ready to lose all the business that I bring in? So maybe they weren't. Or maybe she's just wrapping up her final sales. I don't know. But let's get into some of these houses though, because they were nice these episodes. This new build that Chelsea showed, the staircase was fantastic. It had a guest house that was the size of some apartments. Mary takes Sandra to see a house just so that she can kind of get a feel for how pricing is done. She takes her to see a $50 million house. I'm going to be so for real. I did not realize that houses could get that expensive. I think the top house that we've seen on the O Group was it was a couple of seasons ago. It was I think it was like a $20 million house, and the owner was it took a long time to sell because the owner was he didn't want to drop the price and all these things. Maybe 20 to 30 million, 50 million. It's really hard for me as someone who has never even come close to that kind of money. It's really hard for me to rationalize that amount of money. Like, I can't imagine what it looks like. I can't imagine having it readily available in a bank account. I have a mental block. I can't understand that amount of money. Just like someone who has a lot of money doesn't know how much milk costs. Just like they can't understand that, and they're like, oh, it can't be more than $10 or something crazy like that. I cannot understand what $50 million is. I have no idea what that is. And so when I hear a house being $50 million, you might as well tell me that the house is a cajillion dollars, because that's $50 million and cajillion are the same amount of money to me. I know that I've been watching this show for too long, because there was a small, like a millisecond before I had all the thoughts that I just talked about. There was like a millisecond where they showed the price of the house and they were like, yep, $50 million. I was like, oh, okay, $50 million. I was like, wait a minute, bitch. No, you don't know what that means. But the commission on this is $1.5 million. So whoever sells that, I hope Mary can make it happen. That's a nice chunk of change. I know that they have to give some of it to Brett and Jason, but still, that's nice. So this is the house on Flicker Way. It has this amazing pool. I mean, look at that pool. They were saying that the house belongs to this man named Smiles. And Mary was saying, oh, he throws these crazy Hollywood parties. He's super well known in the entertainment industry. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, if you can afford a $50 million house and you're super well known in entertainment, why don't I know you? Like, I should at least have heard of you before if you got it like that. And then they're talking, and I find out that his mom created Bedhead. And I really truly want y'all to know that nepotism is all around us. That's a perfect example. No offense to him. This no-name kid has a $50 million house because his mom invented hairspray. I think that's what Bedhead is. I don't know. That's not my type of product. But you know what I mean? Like, nepotism is insane. I'm trying to can his mom adopt me? Am I big age? And I really do need y'all to understand this, because I'm joking, but it's so serious. A lot of time, especially in the entertainment industry, I'm talking actors, musicians, people like that, 99% of those people got to where they are because of nepotism, because they know someone who knows someone, or they're directly related to someone. Oh my God, all these people are making it. I can't believe it. But then you find out that their mama was famous. They got a famous cousin. It's like finding out that Snoop Dogg and some other famous actress are related to each other. It's like, it's very rare for people to get in if they're not already in, is what I'm saying. So don't feel bad and don't feel like you're not working hard enough, when the reality is these people were born with connections that you don't have access to. So just remember that to keep yourself grounded. Love Billy, but that's a nepotism baby right there. Tyler is not, just so we're clear. Finally, Alanna and Chelsea look at this new build where the person who built the house also built custom furniture to go with the house. It really is a different, you can tell the house just has a flow to it. It doesn't look stale. It doesn't look cold and white like a hospital. It looks really warm and inviting. It's nice. And talk about turnkey. This place even comes with dishes. That's it for this video, but I will see y'all tomorrow to discuss episodes 8 through 10, the final episodes of the season. And then we're going to get into the reunion. So again, stay tuned to the community tab to find out if there is going to be a reunion, and then get the information for the watch party, which is going to be on Discord like it always is. So I will see y'all in that video tomorrow. Drop your thoughts, and until then, I'll see y'all later. Bye. But you would think I was obsessed. You're obsessed. This video will contain spoilers for, I was about to say Love is Blind. See, I done did too much Love is Blind. Can I just tell y'all something? I slept without my humidifier last night because I forgot to turn it on. And my nose and my sinuses are on the fritz, acting like it's done been 50 years since I used my humidifier. One night. I'll never make that mistake again. I feel like I got a little cold coming on. Mary does think that Chelsea would do something like that. My stomach gone. One of the I'm blanking. It's like the tie that you can, what is it called? I gotta look it up. Cooking, it's like cooking yarn. I don't know if it's called cooking yarn though. Cooking rope, cooking twine. That's the word I was looking for. Jeez. The way I could not find it. Unfuckable with? I don't know what, I don't know what she was trying to say.
This is not a test.